Hello, all of you, and happy Friday to you. Well, it's Saturday in New Zealand and Australia and East Asia. So happy Saturday to all of you, and thank you for joining me here on Enlightened World Network. I'm Tomas Garza, and I'm your host for A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. As always, welcome. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. This is a show that's dedicated specifically to A Course in Miracles, the spiritual self-study text. You may have some familiarity with this, or maybe not. There are a number of you watching who are longtime students of the course that have been doing it longer than I have. And there is a lot of interest out there in the public about A Course in Miracles. And well, let's face it, it's got the word miracles in the title, which attracts beings, does it not? Yeah. And what really is going on here is this is a live stream that's not just about A Course in Miracles. It's about spirituality in general. The Course is a presentation of universal spirituality. In other words, it applies to everyone, regardless of your spiritual or religious background, no matter where you come from in the world, what your upbringing is, whether you have what you would consider a foundational and solid and aligned spiritual practice, or whether you're looking for that. There is something in these ideas for literally every living thing. So, because you're in that category, as am I, we all are, welcome. The live stream is going to, as always, run about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll have the opportunity toward the end here to hop on and say hello to all of you. And there are a couple of you joining me already here. Welcome. Feel welcome to leave comments and questions here. And we at the network absolutely appreciate your being here and all of the likes, the hearts, the comments, questions if you've got them, the page, shares, everything. We aim to create a worldwide community where people can ask deeper questions and get deeper answers, where they can explore their own spirituality, which is nothing less than the truth of who we all really are. We'll look at that idea today. So thank you again for joining in and welcome. And even if all you want to do is pop in and say hello, please feel free to do just that. All right. So we're in the workbook for students today, and the idea that we're working with today is lesson 163. And you, I hope, may know this idea instinctively, may raise some questions, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah. So wherever this lands for you, know that you're watching this for a reason. You are meant to receive this message today. So my wish for you is that you allow this message to resonate with you, kick it around in your mind, and allow it to permeate the very foundations of your being. All right, lesson 163. There is no death. The Son of God is free. That's what it says. I'm not making this up. There is no death. The Son of God is free. There is no death. The Son of God is free. If you do nothing else today, allow this to percolate in your mind. Allow it to sit there and stew. If you prefer to think of it, allow it to sit there and boil. Yeah. Let it run through you. And if this produces doubt, great, sit in it. If it produces joy and relief, great, experience that. The workbook itself says, quite clearly that a number of these ideas will meet with our resistance. We will resist some of them quite actively. That may be the case for you. We live in a world where death is the only so-called certain thing, along with taxes. I mean, that's like the old adage, right? Yeah, nothing's for sure, but death and taxes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, taxes are something we all just made up out of thin air, kind of like countries, like national boundaries. It's a bunch of dudes drawing lines on this thing called a map. What's that, really? Really, what is that? What is everything that we've made here in the world as human beings? And if you question it long enough, and often enough, we come to discover for ourselves what the Course tells us, that it is an illusion. It's not who we are. Same with the physical body. You heard it here. You'll hear it again from many people besides me, and you'll hear it again from me. We're not a physical body. You are not a physical body. I am not a physical body. This is not who we are. It's not what we are. There is no death. The Son of God is free. Why? Because you and me, all of us, in other words, the Son of God has been created free. This is what it means to be created in God's image. It's an extension of God. Love, God, love, same, is only capable of extending itself. Now, doing the verbal math, yeah, keep doing it. You've done it before, or you wouldn't be watching this. You'll do it again. We're one with God. There is no death, and we are free. So here in the world, quite clearly, right, we're having a vastly different experience. We are seemingly, and I emphasize seemingly, encased in this thing called a physical body, which is, by the way, just a term that we made up. Body. The language is not the thing it refers to. It's a series of symbols to refer to something. So this is not ultimately who we are, yet in the world we have the experience of being this thing, don't we? We suffer aches and pains. If we step out in front of a car, we're going to get injured. Right? It suffers physical pain, right? Disease, burns, cuts, scrapes, broken bones, and eventually it ends. It ceases to be animate, and we call that death in the world. Spirit, who we are, on the other hand, cannot die. So I've mentioned many times on this live stream, and of course, as you know, I'll mention it again and again, because that's the way teaching works, right? That's the way spiritual teaching works, is we say the same things over and over and over and over again. Jesus does it in dictating A Course in Miracles. He's saying the same thing over and over and over again in different ways. And then he'll brilliantly reintroduce the same thing that he said 30 lessons ago, 30 lessons down the line. You might be in a different place and you might be in position to hear it. Yeah, this is the way it works. So repetition drills it into us, right? We have to be present and allow it. So may that day be today for you, that you allow this message to permeate. There is no death. The Son of God is free. Who you are cannot die. We are life. Love is life. God is life. itself. We're not separate and cut off, running around in these bodies that last 80 to 90 years, if we're lucky, yeah, quite possibly less. And everything that we experience in the world is like a cult of death. It really is. That's the word that pops to my mind, is it's a, well, death is seen as inviolate and is practically worshipped. We just take it for granted that there is death, that we're going to end. Well, would it hearten you to know that that is not true? I know that you can feel that is not true. And if you're questioning this, again, fantastic. This is good. This is one of the ideas that Jesus puts into the course, because it causes us to think. We often aren't really even conscious. We're on autopilot, aren't we, in life? We blindly accept what everyone in the world has told us without questioning. And when we start to question, we get the pushback from the powers that be, from the forces of control, from the tribe. Could be our own parents, could be our own domestic partners, right? Could be anyone, right? It could be your wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, could be your own kids, not your parents. It doesn't have to be a political figure holding what we call temporal power. It doesn't have to be that. We get this pushback, and so we retreat, and come middle age or adulthood, maybe it's early adulthood for you, right? There comes a time where we begin to question, and we begin to reassure ourselves that, in fact, despite what everyone else may tell us, it's safe to question. This is a safe space to question. So if you find yourself wondering what this is really all about, I invite you to read the comments that follow the idea. There are some commentary. There's a few paragraphs of commentary every day in every workbook lesson. So, being one with God, we are free. Now, you'll see in the notes that I wrote here to introduce the live stream, and the idea for the day is we have a choice, don't we? We have the ability to choose in every moment, love or fear, God or the ego. Really, it's life or death. You can put it that way. Yeah, you can put it that way. Only one of those choices is real. It's not up to us to determine which is real, happily, or we would have destroyed ourselves. Wouldn't we have? Yeah. It's not up to us to decide which is real, life or death. It is up to us to elect, to choose in the present moment. That is up to us, and you will find, and you are finding, because you are on a spiritual path, the more you elect love, the more you choose life and love, joy and happiness, instead of fear, instead of anger and rage and habitual tendencies that might not be so beautiful. Blame, yeah, hatred. Yes, the more you choose love, the more you have a different experience here in the world, and the more you come to see how meaningless a lot of the stuff that we engage in really is. And along with that, you begin to have the experience of oneness with every living thing. Every living thing. There are not billions of sons and daughters of God. There is one. We'll just use the term that the Course uses, Son of God. Yeah, child of God, creation. Yeah. I'll come back to the introduction to the text of A Course in Miracles, which reads, "Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. There is no death. Nothing real can be threatened. The Son of God is free. Nothing unreal exists." So we choose life or death. We do. We choose God or the ego, love or fear. However you prefer to look at that, that is the choice. It is this single choice that we make in the present moment, every moment of every day. So the more that you choose love, life, God, joy, happiness, forgiveness, the more profound your realization will become. The more love you will feel, the more energized and exuberant you will feel, the more confident you'll feel, the more clarity you'll experience, the more certainty you will experience in your life, the more connection with yourself and with every living thing you will experience in life, the more love, the more forgiveness. You will find yourself having a qualitatively different, vastly different experience. Does that sound like fun to you? Does that sound good to you? Well, I hope that you're answering yes to that for yourself. The way to do that is through spiritual practice, whatever that looks like for you. So whatever tradition you currently practice, whether it's A Course in Miracles or something else, there is no death. All right. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. The Son of God is free. So it's up to us to sit with this idea and to contemplate this idea and to meditate on this idea as the workbook suggests, and just repeating it on our own. Yeah, to let this idea permeate your heart, to let it permeate your mind so that it just oozes out of you. When it does, you'll find that you are extending love, you are creating. So, as always, if there are questions or additional comments that you'd like to make here, feel welcome to pop in the comment thread, and I do check this from time to time throughout the day. So, Isabel, hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us here today. As we've had a couple of you on, so thank you for tuning in here. You'll know from tuning in, if you've tuned in before, that I will be back here tomorrow. I typically reserve Sundays for hiking, and my wife Cindy and I live in Arizona, and we like to go hiking up in the mountains or in the desert, so we will be doing that. However, tomorrow is Saturday here in North America, and I will be broadcasting live again tomorrow. If you have particular questions, comments, or concerns about A Course in Miracles, whether you're brand new to it or whether you consider yourself a seasoned, grizzled veteran, right? I'm here for you to help you along your journey as a guide. This is why I show up and deliver my experience with this material. It's why I show up and teach, is so that you may know that you have a safe space to go deep and explore and ask these deeper questions. If you're asking them, great. Yeah, please, by all means, continue to do that. All right. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in here. This has been A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love, and have a great weekend. I'll see you back here tomorrow.